them though, and I was sad I missed it.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
Great. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. So we have quite a few. We have four hearings
So moved,
this
Madam.
morning that we can delve right into.
Great. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Megan is going to go
All those
over there for us. So the
opposed,
first
motion
public
carries.
hearing is Sunrock
So we
Corporation for a
have
conditional use permit. We have four hearings
So moved.
Could
this
Madam.
I
morning
have
that
you
we
guys
can delve right
review
into.
the
All those
September
in
8th
favor,
Say aye.
meetings?
Megan is
We
gonna
had
go
to
over there
resubmit
for us.
those
So the
for a
first
clerical
public
error that
hearing
was
is
found.
Sunrock.
Okay,
Okay, so we
motion for
have
that.
absolutely four hearings. Oh, because I wondered why they were in there. Okay. So did everybody read through the September meetings?
We had to resubmit those for
Error that we need to accept the new September 8th, 2021 minutes. Oh, because I wondered why they were in there. Okay. So did everybody read through the September meetings?
I'll make a motion to accept the
Error
September
that
8th
we need to
minutes.
accept the new September 8th, 2021. Perfect. Any questions? Oh, because I wondered why they were in there. Okay. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
I'll make a motion to accept the
Thank
September
you, Madam Chair, to accept the new September 8th, 2021. All right, we'll go ahead and move into public hearing number one. Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, our first public hearing we have this morning is a conditional use permit from an applicant of Sunrock Corporation for a 40-acre gravel mining site
All those in favor,
on some
please say
property
aye.
that's owned by Rock Springs Grazing Association. Public hearing we have this morning. Just go over to the map real quick, a little easier to tell where it's at. From an applicant of Sunrock Corporation. It's out on Highway 372 mining site. Right now, just a little bit of background information. At the beginning, I believe in February, Sunrock Corporation came in to apply just for an over-the-counter permit for a gravel quarry that was 9.9 acres, which is just under the 10 a little bit of background to do just a regular, I believe in February permit for that. They are looking at increasing that to 40 acres. That's why we're here today to go through the conditional use process. As you can see, all the land is agricultural with a little bit of permit D1 mineral development. They are looking at increasing that to 40 acres. That's why we're here for a gravel to go through the conditional use process. As you can see, all the land is agricultural with a little bit of permit D1 mineral development.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of feedback. Is it our live?
I think it might be.
Okay, I think that's better. There we go.
Okay. Is this better, Madam Chair?
I think so. Is it some?
Okay. The hours of operation that they are going to keep and are proposing are from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 9 p.m., excuse me. The duration will continue until there's no more aggregate material to mine, approximately 5 to 25 years. Sunrock is currently hauling in water and are using portable toilets out there. And we will jump. This is a site plan. The blue area is the actual permitted boundary that they have requested to mine within. And here are the site photos of the public notice that was posted on site. And we will jump right into the review criteria. Criteria number one, the request is consistent with all applicable provisions for the comprehensive plan. As I've stated before, the CUP is just here because the mining operation is increasing in size from 9.9 acres to 40. It is consistent with the provisions of the comprehensive plan. Criteria number two, shall not adversely affect adjacent property owners. This is in an area that's located right next to Wyoming Highway 372, easy use for access and hauling. To the time the staff report was completed, we have not received any negative comments at this time. Criteria number three, the request is compatible with the existing or allowable uses of the adjacent properties. It's surrounded by agricultural and mineral development land, zone districts. In both of these zone quarries, you cannot have a quarry larger than the 40 acres unless approved by the conditional use permit process. This is just a pretty standard process that we go through. Criteria number 4, the request can demonstrate adequate public facilities, including road drainage, potable water, sanitation, sanitary sewer, police, and fire protection exist or will serve to exist the request at the time such facilities are needed. As I've stated before, Sunrock will be hauling in water and using portable toilets for their own use. Criteria number 5, the request can demonstrate adequate provisions for maintenance and the use of associated structures. The current mining operations are already fulfilling this requirement currently. And criteria number 6, the request has minimized to the greatest degree possible adverse effects on the natural environment. Per section 18C2 of the Sweetwater County zoning regulations, reclamation shall be consistent with the state of Wyoming Environmental Quality Act and associated rules and regulations after mining operations have ceased. And Sunrock is aware of this. Criteria number 5, the request will not create undue traffic congestion. It's in a good location, easy access on and off the highway. And again, we've not received any comments against this conditional use permit. Criteria number 8, the request shall not adversely affect the public health, safety, or welfare. Again, this is a very remote location and we think it's in a good spot and have had no complaints. And criteria number 5, this request conforms to all applicable provisions of the Sweetwater County zoning resolution. And we have received agency comments from 4 different parties, the first being Kinder Morgan, and they do not have any facilities in the area, so they don't have any problems. Rock Springs Grazing Association, they have no concerns and support the development of this pit. YDOT has no objections. The existing access to Wyoming 312 at milepost 4.74 is currently permitted for this type of use. If the applicant requires improvements, widening, etc. to the access, an access application must be obtained from YDOT. Existing highway warning signs on Wyoming 372 do not belong to YDOT. These signs are the responsibility of the adjacent users of access, and these signs need to be updated to reflect the proposed use. For any new utility connections within the YDOT right-of-way, the utility companies or owners shall obtain the necessary M54 utility license via the new online permitting process, Mainstar. Currently, YDOT requires any utility companies needing to access the Mainstar system to contact the local district office for the license or permit, or to email to set up login credentials. And Sweetwater County Emergency Management also has no objections to this conditional use permit. And as a staff, we recommend the approval of this CUP. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. I see a Sunrock shirt out here. So is there anything Sunrock would like to come and add? And if you come up to the podium and introduce yourself, and is there anything you'd like to add to Megan's presentation?
So my name is Wayne Humphreys. I'm with Sunrock. I'm the local aggregate manager. No, I appreciate that review, and we appreciate your time in reviewing this for us. I don't really have anything to add, but we're certainly happy to answer any questions that you might have. So if you have any questions, would be.
The 9.9 is included in that 40 already, correct? Okay, that was my understanding. I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
That is correct.
Anybody else have any questions? Comments? Awesome, perfect, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
We'll go ahead and open it up to the public for any public comments. If there's anybody in the audience in favor of the change, if you would like to come up now. Okay, hearing none. If there's anybody in the audience that is against the change, would you like to come up now? Anybody just in general in the audience that would like to say anything regarding the permit change? No? Okay. Yes. Yes, please come on up.
My name is Bill King. I'm with Sunrock Corporation as well. I just want to express my gratitude, appreciation for you guys working with us on this project. I mean, this is an aggregate source that helps provide for the roads, the infrastructure, for everything around us. And I just appreciate your guys' help on this. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to? In general? No? All right, we will close the public hearing. We will go and ask board-wise if anybody has any other questions for anybody, Sunrock or Megan or Eric. No other discussion? Okay. Hearing none, do we have a motion for the conditional use permit for Sunrock Corporation?
Make a motion, we accept the conditional use permit for the 40-acre for gravel mining for Sunrock.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
We have first and a second. Any other final discussion, questions? No. Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Awesome. So that will go in front of the county commissioners on the 21st. We'll need you guys here. So thank you very much. Moving right along, public hearing 2, RLSS Inc., a final plat for Salmon Run.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are on a final plat for the Salmon Run subdivision. You guys have not seen this before due to the fact that it was a minor subdivision. We start with a sketch plat and then you skip the preliminary plat. Hence why you haven't seen it. And right now we're in the final plat stages. This is 3.78 acres located in lot 2 of section 28, township 12, range 109. We're down in the Washam area. We'll zoom to the zoning map real quick so you can tell we are right on the Wyoming, Utah border. It's the last piece of property right in between the Cedar Rest and I believe it's Washam, yes, Washam Creek subdivision. Right in there, they're proposing a 3-acre subdivision, rural residential with they're having the 2 lots on the east side are 1 acre, and then the remainder is the bigger lot on the west that will have the 1.7 acres there. This is about as simple as you can get with the subdivision. The developer and anybody who buys the property will have to install their own septic out there because they are within the 1 mile of the town of Manila. The town of Manila is providing water to this property, and the way that works is water tap has to happen in order for us to satisfy state statute. And the developers, instead of bonding or anything, they have already paid that water tap fee to the town of Manila. And as soon as they have done that, unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, they will start accruing those monthly expenses for the water tap fee. So that's taken care of. There was no need for a subdivision improvements agreement as they have already fulfilled this and will be paying for the water. The road actually resides in Utah in Daggett County, so that will be taken care of Daggett County. So there's no maintenance of a road or anything there. Pretty easy. I believe that's about everything on there. And here are the pictures. As you can tell, it's a beautiful area down there when the public notice was posted. And we'll just jump right into agency comments that we have received. Again, Kinder Morgan has no facilities in this area, so they have no concerns. YDOT has no concerns, and Sweetwater County Emergency Management has no concerns to this application as well. Staff would like to request that fees in lieu of be waived for this Salmon Run subdivision due to the location and no need to add a park or anything. And we don't see a need for the fees to be. So we would just ask that you guys consider that, and we would also recommend approval of the final plat. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Megan. Do we have anybody here on behalf of RLSS? Is there anybody? Okay. Either way, we will open it up for public comment. If there's anybody in the audience in favor of the final plat for Salmon Run, you want to speak now? Hearing none, if there's anybody in objection to the final plat for Salmon Run, if you'd like to come up. We have so many people still here. I'm like, oh my goodness, nobody's coming up. Anybody in general like to speak on behalf of the final plat? All right, we will close the public comment portion. And if anybody would like to make a motion, if you have any other questions, comments regarding the subdivision.
I don't think there's any problem with this, Madam Chair. It's simple. It's
It
3
is
lots.
simple.
They have water tap fees. I think everything is pretty straightforward.
I agree. Who doesn't like simple, right? All right.
I'll make a motion that we approve the final plat with the request of fees in lieu being waived.
Thank you.
I'll second.
We have a first and a second. Any final comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
I
All those opposed, motion carries. Well, and we will notify them regarding, okay. All right, public hearing number 3, Robert A. Volsick, final plat for the Volsick subdivision.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are on the final plat for Volsick subdivision. Again, this is one of the easier subdivisions that's come through, other than the fact it was an existing infrastructure out on the property. Lots 1 and 3 will be mixed residential, R2, and lot 2 will be the commercial and recreational services. West side, it's in the West Side Water and Sewer District. City of Rock Springs will be providing water. Fire District 1, it's in their jurisdiction. Rocky Mountain Power and Dominion Energy are also have facilities in this area. As you guys know, this is an existing site where the Volsick Trailer Court's at, and then the vacant land to the east. 2 requests for variance for the 30-foot access road widths within lot 1 have been granted by the Board of County Commissioners, and also the zone map amendment has been approved as well. And again, here's where the property is located, and this is the final plat of the Volsick subdivision. I do want to draw your attention, a little hard to tell here, but it took a little bit of doing to figure out all the signatures we needed on the plat, but with the help of the title company, we were able to get that cleared up. There was a trust involved with that. So, and one of the trustee members has passed on. So Mr. Volsick will actually be signing on 3 separate lines for this one. You don't see that very often, but everything's taken care of there. There are only 2 outstanding things that we are waiting on. And when we get to the comments portion, Randy Hansen can speak a little bit more to this, but just so you're aware, we are still waiting on a will serve letter from Westside Water and Sewer to say that they will accept the subdivision as proposed. And then the other thing we are waiting on is a utility use agreement between Mr. Volsick himself and himself as the trustees to show, because out there, all the water and sewer is all interconnected. We did not require them to put in a new line directly to where his house resides. We deemed it necessary just to do a utility use agreement. We're still waiting to receive that. So those are 2 just outstanding things that we are waiting on. Other than that, everything else looks really good and is buttoned up. Here are the site photos for the public notice. And we had 3 agencies that responded. The first being Kinder Morgan. They don't have any facilities in the area and don't see any concerns. YDOT has no objections. Please see previous YDOT city comments stated 7/15/2021 and February 25th, 2021. They still apply. It appears an access easement has been provided to serve Lot 2 via Lot 1 that may address some of the previous concerns. If and when Lot 2 develops, the owner must attain a new access permit onto Foothill Boulevard from YDOT for the change in use. And Sweetwater County Emergency Management Systems have no objections to this application. We also would request for this final plat that we waive the fees in lieu of as well. And as far as conditions for the final plat being met, as I've stated before, we still need a will serve letter for the sewer to be provided to us, and also the recorded utility use agreement between the legal entities as the land stands now. And note that on the plat as item number 10 on the keyed notes. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Perfect. Thank you, Megan. So I didn't know, is anyone going to go ahead and talk on behalf of Mr. Volsick? I didn't know if you wanted to, or Randy, if you were perfect, come on up.
Yeah, I'm Randy Hansen with JFC Engineers. Like Megan had mentioned, we got a couple loose ends to take care of with the subdivision, one being the utility use agreement. I understand that that's been prepared and the attorney's looking at that right now. The will serve letter is being drafted by the West Side Water and Sewer District's attorney. Should have that here in the near future. So certainly have things, I would think, in the next couple of days and be in good shape for the Board of County Commissioners on the 21st.
Okay, you guys have any questions for Randy? No? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and open it up to the public for public comment. If there's anybody in favor of the final plat, the approval of the final plat, now is your time. No? Okay, hearing none. If there's anybody in the audience that is against the approval for the final plat. Okay, anybody in general would like to comment on the project? Okay, we'll close the public comment. Does the board have any other questions? My only question was for the YDOT, the access easement has to be provided to serve Lot 2 if that is ever sold. Does that need to be on the final plot, or is it?
That is actually already
It
on
is
the
already
final
on
plat.
that. Okay.
I believe what he's saying there is if when that lot gets developed, they'll just have to
Okay.
apply
Another-
for the
okay.
use permit.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to verify that. Okay. That was the only question I had.
Madam Chairman, I have a question. During the preliminary plat, we talked about this site being a brown site,
Oh, we did.
and maybe I missed it, but I didn't see any sort of note on the plat that referenced that. So my concern is if somebody plot that and didn't know about that, if that's a requirement to put that on the plat.
Eric, I'm going to defer to you on this one.
I heard part of your question. I couldn't hear all of it. But is it whether the brownfield needs to be on there?
Yeah.
That's not a requirement. That's not a state requirement. We can't put that on there.
Okay.
It has not been identified as a brownfield site either. It has the potential for one, but it has not been identified as one.
Okay.
That's why,
Okay.
too.
Does that clear up your question, Rob? or-
Yeah, that answers my question. My one concern for that would be that somebody could buy that piece of property and would have no idea that that is there.
Yeah.
Rob, can you talk into the microphone? I can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, I guess my one concern would be that somebody could buy that piece of property and would have no idea that that is even on that site.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not sure how you can address it when it hasn't been identified as one. That's the issue to me, is if it's not identified I don't know how we can put that on there. That's the issue. I see. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Any other questions from anybody? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the final plat for the Bullseye subdivision?
I'll make a motion to approve the final plat for the Bullseye subdivision with the staff recommendations on the provide will serve letter for sewer and provide record utility use agreement.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
A first and a second. Any final comments, questions? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. So we will move it to the county commissioners on 12/21. And it does need to go to the city of Rock Springs as well. Still, is that correct? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you. All right, our final public hearing is public hearing number 4, Jenner, Wyoming LLC for a zoning map amendment, agricultural to MD2.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a rather large area that is being considered for this zone map amendment. The way the land stands now, it is zoned agricultural. I will preface that this covers several different property owners, both on the surface and on the subsurface as well. It took quite a bit of information getting up front just to make sure everything was taken care of that way. One other thing that is important to note here is that all the land that is being requested for this change already resides within the DEQ permitted boundary. Nothing is being changed there. The infrastructure that's out in that area, it's under Sweetwater County Fire Department's jurisdiction, Rocky Mountain Power, Dominion Energy, and it's right off of County Road 7, Old Stauffer Road. A little bit of background on the site and explanation on what MD2 is, well, first off, we'll start. This is a zone map amendment for approximately 20,377 acres of land. And for an MD2 zone overlay, there's no minimum district size. An MD2 is a mineral development overlay district intended to accommodate underground mining in conjunction with the surface uses of the base zoning district. In this case, it will be agricultural, whereas an MD1 is a district intended to accommodate all mineral extractions or productions and auxiliary facilities. The MD1 zone is only appropriate where Jenner has their facilities above ground as well as below ground. This request is only for the MD2. That is a typo right there. I apologize. Is only for the MD2 overlay for the subsurface, nothing to do with the surface use. The zoning history, unfortunately, in this area is a little bit unclear. There's several different maps that are hand drawn where there's no real boundary defined out there. There's little notes of MD2 and ag, but there's no real boundary to define what actually is MD2. In working with Tyler at Jenner, we both agreed that it would be good to present this and move forward to actually tie a boundary to where the MD2 will be located. And that is the purpose of this public hearing. Again, this land is, the zoning map amendment is for all the lands within their DEQ permitted boundary. This will not change how the lands are being used or being taxed on the surface as well. I do want to make that clear. We did have some people that called into our offices asking for clarification. We don't send out extremely detailed comment forms with this. Sometimes we find that it's hard to put everything in a Word form and answer and try and figure out everybody's questions that they're going to have. So we did get several people call into our offices with questions, but we were able to hopefully answer those over the phone to where they understood what was going on just a little bit better. And one more note that I wanted to bring up is in Wyoming State Statute 18.5.201, it reads, "The authority vested in the Board of County Commissioners inapplicably of the chapter to incorporate cities and towns, mineral resources, and private schools." Subsection A, to promote the public health, safety, and morals of the general welfare of the county, each Board of County Commissioners may regulate and restrict the location and use of buildings and its structures and the use or conditions of use to occupancy of lands for residents, recreation, agricultural, industry, commerce, public use, or other purposes in the unincorporated areas of the county. However, nothing in Wyoming State Statute 18.5.201 through 18.5.202 shall be construed to contravene any zoning authority of any incorporated city or town. No zoning resolution or plan shall prevent any use of occupancy reasonably necessary to the extraction or production of the mineral resources in or under any land subject thereto. I just wanted to bring this statute to everybody's attention, saying there's nothing that Jenner is doing wrong or has done wrong in the past. We are just trying to clean everybody's records up, just to where everybody's on the same page. There's no violation. And also the Board of County Commissioners does not have any authority to stop it, basically. So I just wanted to make that note. This is the zoning map. As you can see, all the lands inside the red boundary, that's the DEQ permitted boundary, and the lightly shaded areas are where we are proposing to be changed to MD2, the overlay, where you can see the aerial shown through really clearly. That's where the MD1 overlay currently is, and where their surface production is taking place. Here are the site photos of the public notice when it was posted. And we will jump right into the 7 criteria for the zone map amendment. The first being the amendment is consistent and compatible with the current resolution and comprehensive plan. The zone map amendment would be updating our records to reflect how Jenner has been operating underground within their DEQ permitted boundary for years, helping to keep our records with our zoning resolution. Criteria number 2, the proposed zoning is suitable for the existing topography and creates buildable lots. Again, this area has been permitted with DEQ for years, and we don't see any problems with the topography there. Criteria number 3, the proposed zoning is compatible with existing or allowable uses of the adjacent properties and neighboring zoning districts. The lands that surround this area are agricultural and mineral development, MD1. MD2 is an overlay of the base district, which is agricultural, which will allow the lands to continue to operate on the surface as they have been for years as well. This is more of a point of clearing up, I guess is a good way to put it. Our criteria number 4, the proposed zoning can demonstrate adequate public facilities, including roads, drainage, potable water, sanitary sewer, police, and fire protection exist or will serve to exist the request at the time such facilities are needed. This is an existing facility. It's been in operation for years. All these, there are adequate public facilities already existing on the property. Criteria number 5, the amendment shall not adversely affect adjacent properties, communities to the health and safety and welfare of the residents of Sweetwater County. This amendment does not adversely affect adjacent properties. We have not received any negative comments at the time the staff report was completed. Criteria number 6, this request conforms to all applicable provisions of this resolution, which it does. We did receive 4 agency comments, the first being from Kendra Morgan. Again, no facilities in the described project area, and they have no concerns. Rock Springs Grazing. Rock Springs Grazing has no negative comments and supports the mineral development in the KLS area. KLSA, excuse me. YDOT has no objections, and Sweetwater County Emergency Management has no objections concerning this amendment either. And the land use staff also recommends approval for this zone map amendment. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Megan. I see Craig out there. Are you here on behalf of Jenner? Would you like to add or say anything? Or Tyler? Okay. Perfect. Tyler, come on up. I didn't know who was going to talk.
No worries. Tyler Schultz, Environmental Superintendent out at Jenner. Madam Chairman, Commissioners, appreciate the opportunity for Jenner to submit this amendment, clear up the records. As Megan stated, basically no change, business as usual, just kind of a clerical exercise. I appreciate you guys working with us as we approach 60 years in service in the county. Hope for another 60 years going forward at least. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions for Tyler while he's up here?
Excellent.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah. Come on.
I'm Craig Root. I'm with Jenner too. Just want to thank you for looking at this. And it really is just a housekeeping error that we allowed to slip through the cracks for a long time and won't happen again. But I did meet with some of the landowners that had concerns. I'm sure the ones that called with questions, and I had a meeting with them and cleared this up, made sure they understood that it really had no impact on anything other than the records. So, and they were satisfied with that. So.
Perfect. And I think that probably does help us that it's just, we have some goofy stuff in the county that always needs cleared up sometimes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and open it up to the audience. Is there anybody in the audience that is in favor of the zoning map amendment that would like to speak?
Yeah, Madam Chair, Eric Bingham, Land Use Director, just want to speak in favor of it. Jenner's always been a good partner with the county, whether it's through Pacific Atlantic Trona and the expansion that's planned south of Green River, or just the cleanup that's happening right now. So we appreciate them coming in and being a good partner with the county. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Eric. Is there anybody else in the audience? Is there anybody in the audience that is against the zone map amendment that would like to speak? Hearing none, is there anybody just in general that would like to comment on the amendment? Okay, we will close the public comment. We'll open it back up to the board. Do you have any other questions, comments? I do want to say thank you because we do have, unfortunately, some not very good record keeping in the past. Poor Megan gets me all the time, just real estate wise. I'm like, I need help with this. Just because, record keeping was not a big deal a long time ago. And we have some goofy stuff. So to clear this up and have a definition, I do like. So thank you. We do appreciate it. Anybody else have any questions, comments?
Anything we do to help clean it up is a good thing.
Absolutely. I know. Oof. All right, hearing none, do we have a motion for the zoning map amendment for Jenner LLC?
I'll make a motion. We approve the ZMA for center and clean up.
Perfect.
I'll second.
Any last or final comments, questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, lastly, moving on, other business, if Jim, you could update us on the changes in the IFC that we were going to have today that we'll have probably next month.
Yeah, just there was an advertising error. That's what happened. So we apologize for that. We do need these adopted prior to March 30th, which now we're on schedule for March 17th or whenever that is. So it's going to be very, very close.
Oh, wow.
So we have home rule here in Sweetwater County. Which means we have power over the fire code, which is what we want. We don't. And so with that, we have to adopt the minimum code that the state adopts, and the state has adopted that code. So Jim's going to go over the changes and any questions that you may have on the new fire code.
Okay, perfect.
Good morning, Madam
Good
Chair.
morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Zimmerman, Sweetwater County Land Use Department. Code Enforcement Officer. May I approach?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You want one, John? As you may or may not be aware of, the International Fire Code its cycle is every 3 years. So the code that we have right now is the 2018. So we're under the jurisdiction of the State Fire Marshal's Office. That's who gives us jurisdiction to police ourselves in Sweetwater County. And they've adopted the 2021, took them all the way to September to adopt that. So after that, like Eric said, we have 6 months to adopt to keep jurisdiction. So that puts us on cycle for the end of March. So that's what we're hoping to accomplish here. The International Fire Code is a reactive code. So what's going to happen is when new things come into the marketplace, new ideas, new technology, the fire code seems to react to that in the next cycle. And so that's why we have, what I've given you today is what I've put together as significant changes from the 2018 to the 2021. So in years past, especially when we went from 2006, we skipped 2009, and the State Fire Marshal's Office said they'll never do that again, because then we had to incorporate all the changes that went into 2009 into the 2012. I had pages and pages of significant changes from 2006 to 2012. Now that we're staying on cycle, there's not a lot of changes for this cycle, but I did want to give you the significant ones, and I just wanted to highlight a few, if that's okay, Madam Chair.
Perfect. Yes, please.
Okay, so some of the new things will be portable generators. It's a new section. It's going to address portable generators. What we're seeing is portable generators going into homes now. And so that, especially in Wyoming, where we do have some outages, power outages and stuff. So this is going to address my inspection into homes that have portable generators. We've had portable generators in businesses and commercial for a long time, but now it's, as you all know, it's coming down to a lot more electrical things in the residences now. Also, solar photovoltaic systems. So we're getting a lot of that now in the residential area, where it's going to be roof mounted or yard mounted. So they have an entire section on that that's brand new. The other thing is fuel cell vehicle energy storage. So I just wanted to bring up some of these new technologies and these new things that we're looking at. That's where we're going to have cars that plug in. So I'm going to have to inspect to make sure these plug-ins, these electrical, things that are built into the garages in these residential houses are up to code. And so we have a whole area about that. And a couple other things I just want to point out on this list, and I can answer questions on any one of these, but the storage of distilled spirits and wines. Okay, so basically we're going to be looking for precautions against fire, storage, fire protection systems, signage. Everything's getting a lot tighter because there's been incidences in different areas of the country with storage of alcohol. And so that's going to come into effect, and they have a whole new chapter for that, chapter 40. And last but not least, I want to mention is mobile fueling operations. It's one of the more newer technologies. So we're going to be watching where we're going to have vehicles going out and refueling vehicles that are already on the road rather than them coming in. So there's going to be incidences where we have to make sure all that's done safely. There has to be code concerning how that's done and how it's handled.
Are you talking about like semis on the highway?
Yeah, there's going
Never heard of that.
Yeah, and it's also with the electric vehicles.
Electric, not semis necessarily. I was thinking of
It's going to be electric vehicles. So it's going, as you can see, society is going more and more and more towards consumer-based, where, we want you to buy our product and we'll even come out to you if you need us to come out to you. So more and more services like that. A few years ago, it was the food truck, if you remember. That came in hot and heavy. Food trucks all over the place. So there was a whole area of code that was put in for food trucks. So we've addressed that. It's in the code. These are some of the newer things that I just wanted to point out to you that's coming in this latest cycle. But believe me, these aren't real significant. As you look over, I mean, I have 3 pages here out of the whole new code. It's not really a significant code change cycle.
So is it on new builds that you will be checking for these? I'm like, what if I want to build a wine cellar? Am I going to have to get a permit and you have to come and do
What's
you know
your
what I
limit
mean?
on booze?
Yeah.
Well-
I'm like,
That's a real concern,
it
Jim.
is.
Well,
I know. I'm like,
you're
I'm a
all-
realtor, man. Yeah.
Casey, you're already on our list. So we're wondering about that. Well, like anything else, it would be something that would have to be permitted. Everything I do, every inspection I do runs through the permitting process.
Okay.
So when we, part of the verbiage that goes behind us approving or adopting these standards also comes with the IFC has a section for permitting. So we take that out. We don't use the IFC's section for permitting, their chapter. We end up using our own because planning and zoning has our own permitting. So the only way I have the ability to go out and inspect if it's brought along by a permit. So it has to be permit induced. So if, a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure there's some people here that maybe live in city of Green River and the city of Rock Springs that have changed their water heater without getting a permit. That's what we're up against in the county. If it's inside and we don't see it, it's really hard to know that something being done and get it permit. But there are a lot of good constituents out there that call us first and say, hey, I'm doing this. Do I need a permit? And we appreciate that. And that's where we look at it. And
Question. I'm like, how do you enforce or how does this change over or happen? I'm like, how do we know?
I don't have an easy job, Angela,
No, you don't.
but I do my best.
Hey,
Any other questions?
Jim, can you explain the Board of Appeals, how we changed that too? Because of some of the issues we had in the past.
Yeah, the Board of Appeals was one that if somebody had a problem with the way we represented the code, if they wanted to challenge our decision in a review or an inspection, they had to go before a Board of Appeals, which was in Cheyenne, and it was under the fire marshal's office, and they had the whole board, and we've gone there on several occasions. Well, at that time, who we had on the Board of County Commissioners, I'll just be honest, they took that personally. That, there was a decision made in our county and we had to go to Cheyenne. And so we've rewritten all of that with the backing of the state fire marshal's office. They thought it was a good idea. So the Board of County Commissioners is now the appeal board for any decision that's made in here. I'm a council member over here in Green River, and anything that's appealed on their planning and zoning goes to the city council. It's appealed up to the city council. Board of County Commissioner in the past have taken exception that that power was taken out of their hands and taken to the state.
I agree with them. I think that's a good idea. I
Yeah.
think she should stay here.
So we changed it. And we knew that Casey would like that at the time, right?
Saw that coming.
That's right. We knew that. We talked about that. One day Casey's going to be on the board and he's going to want this to stay here.
You're thinking ahead, Jim. I like.
We're thinking ahead. We're a few years. We have a 5-year plan. Any other questions that I might be able to help you with code enforcement in general?
No. So next month, should we have a meeting, Eric? In that by then we'll be in the
Yes, it's-
paper long enough and be able to get this adopted
Yep.
in time for, okay.
It was advertised and that went in the paper this week. So it's advertised for January and you guys will
Okay.
hear it. But this way, at least you know the information now. And if you had any questions, you can,
Sure. And we can just breeze
And-
through it next month and we'll be good.
there you go.
Perfect.
Thank you, Jim.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you
that's
for your
awesome.
time.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. This is not fun stuff. Oof. Eric, do you have anything else? Megan, do you have anything else for us?
I don't, Madam Chair. That's it.
All right, perfect. We'll
Right
go
on
ahead.
my phone. I thought I had it on silent. And I pick up my hearing aids. It's just ringing in my ears, or is it, like, oh shit, it's ringing.
It is ringing.
I apologize. I thought I turned it off.
We'll go ahead and adjourn at 10:51 a.m. Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning.